I'm Mike Watson, CEO of the New Zealand Business Excellence Foundation. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the work of the Foundation and also about the strategic management framework that we use to support New Zealand businesses. The mission of the Foundation is to enable New Zealand organisations to achieve world-class performance and results through the deployment of a world-class organisational improvement framework. We do this by providing a range of services, including assessment services, benchmarking services, training and networking events to our member organisations. The membership of the Foundation is open to all New Zealand organisations and includes a mix of public and private sector. This includes organisations such as the Royal New Zealand Navy, the New Zealand Fire Service, district health boards, territorial local authorities, and also major corporates such as Air New Zealand, Fisher & Paykel, Vero Insurance and the like. The Foundation uses the US Baldrige criteria as a reference framework. This is an internationally recognised and respected best practice framework. The New Zealand Government, through the Ministry of Economic Development, searched for a robust model of business improvement and funded the development of abridged criteria for New Zealand businesses. The Baldrige criteria is the most comprehensive and most accepted model in the world for measuring performance excellence. It applies to all types and sizes of organisations, is structured, holistic and non-prescriptive. Assessment against the criteria provides a means of giving your organisation a comprehensive health check. The benefits of using the criteria are improved financial results, increased market share, improved customer satisfaction, increased employee satisfaction, organisational awareness and alignment, and consistency of approach. Business improvement models have evolved over the years from a very transactional focus in the early days through to a far more holistic focus now, where the organisation looks at all elements of its business. So what is a business excellence approach? Well, essentially it's about adopting a continuous incremental improvement approach. You have day-to-day things to do to run the business, but it's very much about identifying those improvement opportunities, prioritising them carefully, and then ensuring that you're addressing initiatives where you get the most bang for your buck. This includes, after you've identified the initiatives, benchmarking to ensure that you're not reinventing the wheel and that you're able to learn from others who have done things very successfully. When the Ministry of Economic Development conducted their research, they looked at all the main business improvement models that were being used in New Zealand and internationally. And what they found was very interesting in that these models all operate in tandem with each other, and you can use a variety of them rather than having to pick one model and stick with that. The Baldrige framework, of course, sits across the top, but like an umbrella framework, and allows all of these other frameworks to work in harmony with it. The Baldrige criteria reflects the common characteristics of world-class organisations. These are the behaviours of the top-performing organisations in the world. The framework itself is, as I mentioned earlier, holistic, it's generic, so it applies to different business types and sectors, but more importantly, it's non-prescriptive in that it doesn't tell you how to run your business. It's often called structured common sense. It asks all the important questions, but it leaves the business itself to determine what processes they should be using to meet their business needs. As an example, if you look at one of the key relationships between the criteria categories, we start with leadership, where we're looking to what the vision of the organisation is and what are the key objectives that you're trying to achieve. This then links to the strategic planning category, where it asks how are you going to achieve this? What is your plan? Then it links to category 4, where it asks how you're going to track your progress through key performance indicators, measures, targets and the like. And then finally, how do you prove that this is all working via your business results? So where are you going? How are you going to get there? How are you going to track your progress? And how are you actually doing? Categories 1 to 6 of the criteria ask how you actually do things in the business. It talks about the business processes, and then the important thing is how you're actually doing in terms of business results. There's a very strong link between the processes of the business and how you do things, and are you getting the results that you want for the business. Self-assessment is a key element of the framework. It was originally designed as an assessment framework to give you a structured form of assessment via the criteria to allow you to identify organisational strengths and opportunities for improvement, which then have to be prioritised and then initiate improvement activities within the business. The assessment element is particularly important in that you need to put a stake in the ground as to where the business is at the moment, then using the international framework as something to strive for, as the goal, being world class. What the assessment does is it enables you to identify where the largest gaps are in order that you can start prioritising and initiating the improvement activities. As you can see, the assessment element is particularly important in terms of identifying where you are at the moment, putting a stake in the ground, so to speak, and then determining where you want to be in the future. The criteria itself acts as a best practice indicator of the levels of performance you might be striving for. And of course, the assessment enables you to identify the gaps in the business to enable you to prioritise and begin improvement activities. Organisations use the criteria to regularly assess their business, but also to track their progress to make sure that they're actually getting some bang for their buck for their investment in business improvement activities. The Baldrige criteria is quite detailed and complicated for organisations initially starting the journey, and that's why the abridged versions have been developed. Organisations use the criteria to conduct regular assessments in order to track their progress on the journey to being world class. The Baldrige criteria is quite complicated and very detailed, and initially organisations should use one of the abridged criteria to get their feet wet, so to speak, then transitioning after time into the full international criteria. Business is very complex. There are an awful lot of processes within the various headings of the criteria. Leadership includes a focus on setting direction, performance expectations, accountabilities, mission, vision and values, and that type of thing. Strategic planning, planning development, planning deployment, action planning, customer and market focus. Who are your customers? How do you determine the requirements of those customers and the relative importance of those requirements? And more importantly, how do you determine you are meeting your customers' requirements? The Category 4, the information and analysis and knowledge base, is performance management of the organisation, knowledge management, the type of information and information systems to disseminate knowledge to staff and stakeholders. Human resources, the development of work and jobs and work systems, learning and development, health and safety. Category 6 is all about processes, key processes that provide value to customers, and support processes such as HR, marketing, IT and similar. Finally, the results section. This is the evidence base that the processes or approaches that you're taking to business are effective and giving you the results you require. So why do it? Well, survey data of organisations that are using the criteria, in particular key drivers influencing the decision to adopt the criteria, show that it's internationally proven to work and a guide to continuous improvement. The other part of the survey looks at the benefits of actually using the framework, benefits that have been experienced by member organisations, and in particular this shows improved business results and a clarity of direction in terms of business improvement. Organisations that have used the model with great success and have been actually judged to be world-class organisations include the New Zealand Aluminium Smelter, Vero Insurance and the Royal New Zealand Navy. Additionally, the New Zealand Fire Service are achieving extraordinarily good levels of performance. Illustrating the point that I made earlier about the ability to use the various frameworks in harmony, the New Zealand Aluminium Smelter has a very effective Lean Six Sigma program and have achieved some incredible results and savings over a period of years. They also have ISO accreditation, they have a balanced scorecard that works very effectively, but they use the Baldrige framework as an overarching framework for the business. Vero Insurance have achieved incredible results in terms of staff satisfaction and engagement, levels that we've not seen in New Zealand before. What you'd normally ask at this point is, has this translated through to business results? Very happy and engaged staff is one thing, but Vero Insurance have also achieved market preference at levels we've also not seen before. They have 3 times the market preference of their nearest competitor. The Royal New Zealand Navy have a vision to be the best small nation navy in the world, and essentially they achieved that in 2009. They have regularly assessed themselves to determine that they're making an improvement in the various areas of the criteria to make sure that they're getting return on the investment in their business excellence program. The New Zealand Fire Service has been using the criteria as a total organisational model for many years and achieving some tremendous results. A very large, complex organisation with nearly 10,000 employees, communication being a particular challenge to them, one that they are addressing extremely effectively. They are also, after all, the most trusted profession in New Zealand. So in summary, the fundamentals of running a successful organisation are the same, whether you're in the public service, private sector or not-for-profit. There is no better alternative to a structured, consistent approach to business improvement activities. Business improvement is not an add-on, this is just part of running a successful organisation. We would love to hear from you. Please don't hesitate to contact the Foundation for an obligation-free chat. Thank you.